Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Thank you for joining us here at Code It Live. I'm your host for the day, Sam Basu. It is Thursday, so it is a .NET Day. I'm actually glad to be online because I missed out the last 2 weeks, I think, and then stuff happened over at Twitch and like our stream keys and everything got reset, so I'm just glad to be here. So welcome people. Thank you for joining. Let's get into what I'm trying to do. So for the next few weeks, you're going to see me try to build up an app. And hopefully I can put it in the app stores for mobile and kind of have a little fun along the way. So let me show you what I'm trying to build. And I think it was like 1 or 2 shows back where like I promised I would build the whole thing right here. I have been tweaking with my audio settings a little bit here, just trying to tune down the gain a little bit, so please let me know if the music is too loud or if you're having a hard time hearing me. If you need anything changed, please let me know in the chat. Okay, so I am excited about .NET MAUI, the evolution of Xamarin Forums, and so is a big part of the .NET community. So I have started kind of documenting all the goodness of the stuff that the community puts out every week, articles and video content, anything that's relevant to .NET MAUI developers. And I put them out in a little newsletter style article called Sands of MAUI, kind of a play on the Maui Island. So this comes out every Monday. And I try to keep it down to like 5 things, because beyond that it gets too long to read. So every Monday you will see me, and this is out on like blogs.telerik.com. You can do a search on Sands of Maui, you'll likely land up here. So for every week, for the posts that go out, like there are 5 things I highlight, right? So this last week we had like Xamarin Expert Day, VS 2022 for Mac came out. There was a video on NVVM design pattern. We had a Telerik UI MAUI update. There was a podcast. So that's what I do every Monday, is when the newsletter comes out. Now, all of this is actually tagged, right? I mean, we link to the other posts that are in the past, and then there is this tag essentially that takes you to a landing page which has all of the Sands of MAUI posts. Like if you were wanting to go back a few issues and see what was going on certain weeks, you can definitely go back in time and see all of the posts, right? And this is like started, we're about issue 27, so it's been going for 27 weeks. I think I started back in March of this year, so it's been going strong. I think I've missed like 1 week because like I was really just out of town and on vacation, but otherwise it comes out every Monday. So I've been asked, and there's been a couple of folks who have expressed the desire that they would love to see this as an app. Right, so an app that you can, you don't have to come here, you don't need to get an email. It's an app that you install on your, phones or tablets, and then every Monday a new post just shows up, right? And I've been asked to see if I can make this app in .NET MAUI, kind of dogfooding on the technology itself. So I accepted the challenge, and let's see how far I go. It shouldn't be a very difficult app to build, but maybe we can use the opportunity to kind of try out a few things with the UI around .NET MAUI, with whatever backing that I need, and the cloud services, whatever. So here's my challenge, and I'm open to any inputs here, and chat room tell me if what I'm thinking is at all right or no. So this is actually coming from a CMS. This is Sitefinity, actually, one of our CMSs. That's where all of this content goes, right? And they do have an RSS feed, like there is a blog's feed out of it, but it's not very clean. So it gives you a lot of other things that I'll have to parse through, and like I don't want to like scrape this page. So I just don't have a clean-cut API to get access to the content for each of the issues. So I'm thinking I might just have to do it myself. So just spend a little bit of time getting a backend that is separate from the CMS. So I have a clean set of APIs to hit up and get the list of issues and then dive into each one. Once I get into an issue, like if I go into it, like all of this, like this is HTML, right? And I'll show you like how I write it. This is all HTML, and one thought I had was if I'm to create a dotNET MAUI app, you know, the whole like Blazor hybrid story, there is a web view that's actually pretty nice on, you know, iOS, Android, Windows, and Mac. So if I have a web view and if I have some HTML content, I can just like plug that in and just let the app pretty much show the exact HTML with all the formatting, because that's already done for the blog. So that kind of cuts down on my effort on how to show this content. So maybe that's the easiest thing to do. But I have to come up with a list of issues first, and then you tap on each one and then it goes there. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Now, when I look at each issue, like I'm going to show you some backend stuff here on how I write this. So if I go up here, I have a OneDrive folder here. This is where I write every week. So that's my markdown file, right? So I start out writing in markdown for every issue. This is where it begins, right? So it's straight up markdown. I start out writing simple text on paper or on a screen, and then I add the formatting, and then I add the images and whatever else that is. So this is where it is just the raw text. Now you're seeing kind of an end product here. I have all the links. These are some of the images which are not inserted, like I can do an exclamation point and then insert the images, but I do that like on the blog engine once I'm ready to upload. So this is the raw markdown file, right? And then I export that out into HTML. So this is the HTML, and this is the last issue as of like last Monday or this Monday, right? So this is the raw HTML. Is the one that you see when you go to our blogs. This is the view. So this has all of the, you know, HTML. I mean, I do everything in Markdown, but then I come in and I have to fidget a few things always, like paragraphs and, you know, spacing. I have to make sure everything is good. Any code that I'm embedding, make sure everything is looking nice. And then I take this whole HTML and I plump it into the CMS, and that's how it works. So one of the first challenges is going to be if I am to put this behind an API, and if I'm getting JSON, we are kind of embedding HTML inside of JSON. So I might have to figure out some encoding things because JSON is not going to like you know, like these double quotes in my HTML. JSON is not going to like that unless it's like escaped. So I don't know how difficult that would be. It could be a matter of just escaping the double quotes and like all the forward slashes, so the JSON doesn't get confused. But it depends a little bit on like how I'm rendering it. So I haven't gotten that far out yet, so I have to think it through, and I'll do this live so all of you can tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm happy to make fun of myself here because I'm really trying to figure out what is the right way. So given that the data is pretty simple, like it's a list of issues, and then each issue essentially has a big blob of HTML. And I'm a big fan of, you know, relational data, but this just almost seems like a document, right? This is almost non-relational stuff. So I'm thinking of like NoSQL type backends, and I know there are lots of options around, but the thing that I looked around, the thing that was kind of easiest to get into is Azure and Cosmos DB. I know a lot of people are experts on that. I have, it's been around for a few years. I just haven't had a chance or an opportunity or a need to essentially use it. And for what I'm doing, it might be an overkill, but it just seems like easy, like the API is just easy to get going. So tell me, folks, if I'm thinking this right. Let's start. Okay, I'm going to close down Mac down for a second because it is essentially the HTML that I'm concerned with. So I am going to go into the Azure portal because I started doing this yesterday, and I haven't gotten far. I think I just have a service out. So if you're kind of starting out with me, or kind of in the same boat as me, where you haven't played with Azure Cosmos DB, they have nice docs, obviously. So I was kind of trying to follow along what they have done. They have some quick starts here, and this is where Azure Cosmos DB is, it's a huge canvas. It does a lot of things, and it kind of caters to different styles and schemas of how you save your document and what kind of APIs you use. Like I don't know much about Cassandra or MongoDB or Gremlin. Tables is kind of easy to understand. So with, again, my relational background, I naturally gravitate towards the SQL side of things, which is, it's still a document, but it's kind of like LINQ and SQL is the way you get it, because my stuff is going to be super simple. It's like a key value pair. Like every issue is going to have, one key, and then one value is essentially the whole blob of HTML. So that's what I'm thinking. Tell me if I'm completely off and, and wrong in what I'm trying to do, but that's kind of where I am at. So they have some nice stuff here. You can see how, and then they have like SDKs for .NET and JavaScript and Spring and Node.js, you call it. There was one that was called Xamarin. I don't think like folks with .NET MAUI have kind of used Cosmos DB together, or it's not documented, but the Xamarin stuff is pretty much the same, and it should work. So they have an app out here, which I think it's way too complicated for what I'm trying to do, but this app does like contact tracing and geolocation and all that stuff. But one part of the app is like a simple to-do list, so that's kind of what I was looking at. So this one here, the SQLnet API. Okay, so once we get into it, how do you start out? It's pretty simple. It's you go into your Azure portal, and like the freemium tier is actually very lenient. They go by like resource units, and like you need a lot of hits before you can start raking up a bill. So this is actually real nice. So what I did was create a resource, and you can do all of these things in Azure. That's Azure Cosmos DB. So when you say create, it takes you into this mode to say what exactly do you want to do. Is it SQL, Mongo, Cassandra, or anything else? And you go from that. Okay, if you did core SQL, which is what I did, you end up in this kind of a wizard that says, give us all the things you need to set it up, like what subscription should this be tied to, what's your account name, what data source do you want to use, what capacity, like provision, I think is more controlled. Yeah, much better. Thank you after me. Serverless is more like a shared document where like resources are being stood up just when you request things and delivered to you. So I think that's cheaper. And then you got all of these options for like global distribution. Like, do you want geo redundancy? Do you want networking? There's a lot of things. So if you are starting up like me, I would kind of encourage you to go read the docs, because each of these things have a very strong meaning as to where or how your data is going to be, like tags if you want like billing tied to certain resources. And once you're all done, you hit create and it'll go and create the resource for you. Okay, so that's what I have here, and I haven't done much. I've just started tinkering around. So I have a resource here that says Sands of MAUI backend, right? So I'm just going to start here, go to the resource, and I know there are lots of ways in which you can kind of add data, but I mean they give you an UI to go do this yourself. And then the keys and other things is what you need to actually ping that data, which is the one I will get to. So they have a data explorer here, which is real nice. So what I started doing was, if I created a new container called Sands of MAUI Issues. Within that are a list of things called issues, and then the items are going to be each of my items, right? And I just started putting down some sample stuff here. Let me bump up the fonts a little bit. So that's the JSON body for each of the issues, right? And some of this RID, self, like these tags and these things, they just add by themselves. So this is like ID1, Sands of issue, MAUI issue 1, published on a certain date, HTML body, like I have it as hello world, but that's the schema, that's the placeholder where I'm going to add all of my HTML, right? So that's what I'm thinking. I can just like keep on adding each of the issues here. But one of the things is, like, I don't want to pull back all of these issues with all of their details when I'm trying to get a list of issues. So I'm thinking maybe I need a separate container that is just for getting the list of issues, right? So maybe I don't need these like published by or anything like that. All I need is like an ID. And then the HTML body, because this is going to be my in the master detail page, this is going to be like, once you click on each issue, like this is my detail, right? So I only want the HTML body at that point. So let's save that, and ID2, we don't need any of that, and we'll update that. Okay. So now I think new container or new database. Hold on. So let me check the docs, what we were doing. A container is more so about like the tasks, and then the container ID is the items. So is it a container or is it a database? Like the database ID here is the to-do list. So maybe it is a database, so to speak. Okay, so new database. Okay, so we're going to call it Sands of MAUI issue list. So we're going to have like one-on-one mapping between the IDs. So once you click on a certain issue, I can go to the issues database and pull that ID back and get its corresponding HTML. Okay, so I have a database, but then I didn't set up the issues. Hold on. This, and now I have to create a container. Okay. Use existing issue list. Let's just call it issue list here as well. Partition key. I don't know what partition key it does, to be honest. It's probably how it's looking up the data. Issue list. Okay. Alright, now we have that issue list here and items. Okay, now we can say new item. So we could hold on, break this down a little bit more. Let's see how they're saving each of the tasks. So this is like for a task, this is ID category, that's one task. And if we have multiple, let me see how they're partitioning it, or like how they're defining the JSON body, if I have to do anything different. Let's see. No, actually I can actually go look at the other one, issues here, items. These are the two items, and I think I can do a query. Where's the query? That's the query. How do I run it? New item, open query. Okay, open query. No, that's just a saved query. New SQL query, select star from C. Yeah, that seems how we can run it. Okay, so that's how it's fetching it back, right? And so this is like a SQL query on top of the DocumentDB. So we get IDs, and so it's like plain comma separated JSON. All right, and everything is an array. All right, we can do that. We can definitely do that. All right, so this is my items list for individuals, and this one here is the issue list here, right? So what we're going to do is I'm just hand coding here because I want to get the basics going first. So if this is what it looks like, we're going to give this one an ID of 1, and we'll give it a name. Sands of MAUI issue number 1. All right, and let's just say we're going to repeat that for X number of times for however many issues we have. So this is going to be my ID of 2 and issue number 2. So I'm shooting for like 2 endpoints. Ooh. Why are you failing? Because it cannot give me... It's a single document. Why can't you save that? Oh. I need to figure out like exactly how it wants it to be saved, because it's not liking like the full list. Or maybe just wants it individually. That'll be a little dumb. Okay. Well, I mean, I can break it down, and then so it really wants it to be like separated out. Hold on. Okay, so let's just say that, and maybe we'll add a published date to it, and let's say roughly we started March 1st, 2021. Well, what happened? Oh, that's just a shortcut. I don't know. You could collapse it. Okay, can you save this? Yes. Okay, so it really does go one document at a time. Okay, well, it's still, I mean, this API will just give me a list of the docs, then I don't have to fetch the, like, what I'm trying to avoid is when I go look up the list of issues, I don't want the HTML, I just want a list. So maybe this is still fine. So it's just a little bit of manual work then, because I have to keep typing this over and over again. But that's fine. It still gives me a nice clean API. So if we went on March 1st, this will be the March 8th, will be the second issue. Save, and now we have ID 1 and 2. Now the IDs are the same between the issue list and the actual issue details, so we should be able to go look it up easily. And can I query this? No, this one, a new SQL query. Okay, execute. Okay, now I get 1 and 2 together. Yeah. Now there are ways to put a RESTful service on top of this, so we can actually ping it, and that's the one I want to try. So today I'm actually not even going to go into the client app, because like let's get the backend working first, and then we'll start building it up. So you're going to see me build this from ground up. It's going to be a little boring first couple of weeks as we get the backend and everything going. Okay, but that's kind of the key for us to have a nice, like, dependable API to go back to, and This is probably an overkill, but you know, if I release the app and like the very next day I have 1 million users, because you know I'm like so popular, I can scale if I need to. But I mean, you have all of the Azure SLAs of like the service availability and all of that good stuff, and this should all be pretty much within the free tier. I don't envision us crossing over. Okay, all right. So now, let's see. This was Xamarin. What if I just wanted to see the data? I think they have create and manage. Yeah, like a console app. That's what I want. Like, I don't want to build a Xamarin app. I want to do like a .NET console app and see my data. See if I can connect. All right. So create an Azure Cosmos DB account. I have done that. I have done all of that. So this is what I was talking about, like kind of read through the details of what it means, like up front, like this capacity mode of provisioned versus serverless has some meaning. So definitely look through that. I felt like the provisioned is more dedicated in terms of resources and likely a little bit more expensive. So I went with serverless, but again, do something that makes sense for you and your app. Redundancy, like I chose no, like pretty much the defaults for all of it. So yes, I have done all of that. Oh, now we get into Visual Studio, and oh, there's a NuGet package, nice. And we're going to connect to Azure Cosmos DB right here, get the keys, okay. So you are going to see me pull down the keys. We're all friends here, right? Don't steal my keys. And we have a task main, and we connect, and oh, they're actually creating the database and the container probably. Yeah, create a container. So they're doing the steps manually, the ones that we just did through the portal, and we're adding items to it. Perfect. So they have like a family, parent, child, pet, and then the address. Okay. At what point do they actually retrieve it? Okay, query. Okay, this is what we need. So let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, I'm curious if I can, like, I have some data now. Can I read it through a .NET API? Because then I can use the same API in my Xamarin app, in my .NET MAUI app. But this is kind of a trial. So I have done this part. Let's go into Visual Studio. Oh, and this is where it gets shiny. Because guess what? If I go look at the last Sands of MAUI post, this thing is out now. So this is Jordan Matheson and the engineering team at Microsoft. They have been working on Visual Studio 2022 for Mac. So VS 2022 is a big refresh, not just for Windows, which is 64-bit, but even the Mac side of it, it's much more native. I think it's done with AppKit. Hey, it's really Polyrate. Good to see you. Let's see if my highlighting thing is working. Because some days it just doesn't work with me. There you go. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I am tinkering with some new audio settings, so please let me know if you have a hard time hearing me or need anything changed. Excuse me, what I'm trying to say is this thing is new. It doesn't have MAUI support yet, but it's coming along. So this one had a private preview. So some of us were in that. You could try it out. You could give feedback. But the first like public official preview is out. So don't get that if you're on a Mac and you're using Visual Studio. So I'm going to use that. And yeah, a few things might be broken, but that's fine. We'll get around. It's so nice to be able to play with new bits. Okay. So again, a lot of it looks familiar because that's the point, but then some things are different. Okay, so new project. So, oh, look at that! They have a .NET MAUI, or maybe they're reading out of my my installed SDKs or templates. So no, I don't want to do any of that. I just want a console app right there. Yeah. No. Shall we live on the edge? 6. Why not? Well, is stuff not going to work? Is there anything that might not work? Oh, you know what? I might run up against some NuGet packages not working. Hold on. lower the background music a tad more. There you go. Are you feeling lucky? No, I'm not feeling that lucky, because I have concerns that some of this stuff might not be ready for .NET 6 yet. So you know what? I'm going to chicken out and go with .NET 5 because that's production ready. I just want to see my stuff, my data in an app. Okay. Cosmos test. All right. No, I don't need to go to GitHub for this. Just a console app. Okay, look at that. It looks a little different. Like, whoops, not that. Like some of these icons look different, but this is the new VS 2022. Okay. And things are real small here. Auto hide. Yeah, there you go. And oh yeah, I can still bump up the fonts here, and I can bump up the fonts here. Okay, so things work. All right, so I got program.cs that has system and nothing else. That's good. So if I fire this up, will it bring up the thing? No. Oh, so it just shows you the terminal right here that says hello world. Can I break this off into, what is this? Pin output pad. Yeah, I don't know. How can I see the output? I don't know exactly how to break this out. Like that's the build output, and then this is the actual output. I can pin this. Yeah, so yeah, I'll see it down below. 3D Potterhead, what do you think is going to be your main MVVM framework for the start of MAUI? Aha. I did, hold on for a second, I'm going to try to show you something. Back in Sands of MAUI, the last week we had this thing called Xamarin Expert Day. It was great. It was a full day event and a lot of speakers, and the whole thing is actually recorded and it was like live streamed to YouTube. If you go check it out, you will find the recording for the whole day. And my talk actually was on MVVM and a little bit of MVU. And I'm a fan of Prism. Like you have Dan Siegel in the chat room sometimes. Like I like Prism. I also am fine with just the community toolkit. But for what I'm doing here for this app, it's just like super simple. I don't think I need to bring in a framework. So I'm also a fan of just letting the built-in MVVM support kind of shine through. So for what I'm needing, just the data binding and just basic navigation, I think I'm going to be fine. Hector is asking for a link. Yes, I can pull up a link. Hang on. Let's see. Xamarin Expert Day. So there were some really good sessions, except for mine. There were some really good sessions. Hold on. What if I go to? Okay, so my streaming box is a different box, so I can't copy and paste real easily. But like that's the link. You see that? XamExpertDay.com, right? So start there, and I'm sure they have the YouTube videos listed right there. So these are long videos because they streamed on 2 channels throughout the day. So each channel is like 7 hours of content, and lots of really good sessions, right? So you look at where was the program? Like authentication, desktop with .NET MAUI. Hang on, is the feature chat thing not going away? Yeah, there we go. So then, let's see what's changing with custom renderers to handlers. Accessible apps, this was Rachel Kang, that's MVVM versus MVU. David Ortno stopped by to talk about what's happening in the MAUI space going forward. And then Maddie Leisure closed off the day with, kind of looking forward at MAUI. So look it up. Yeah, it was a really good day if you wanted to. So thank you, Hector. All right. So where was I? Oh, MVVM. Yes, I'm. If I need to, I will bring in Prism, but I have a feeling I will not need it for something this simple. But let's try. Okay, so here's our console app, and let's see what they had us do. So start with the console app. The NuGet package is called Microsoft Azure Cosmos. Okay, we can do that. Dependencies. Yeah, see, I chickened out. I went from .NET 5 just to make sure my NuGet packages will work. No packages found. Oh no, you're looking at the Telerik feed, of course. So this is a private feed actually that we host for all of our bits. And we have documentation to set it up. Like if you wanted like your own like in company private NuGet feed, you can do that fairly easily. So there are a few. Document DB core. I think I just need the base Azure Cosmos, right? All right, that one. Latest stable, sure. And it's adding. If I can, if I can see my cloud data, that'll be step one, and then next week I can get going on the client app. So a bunch of dependencies. Sure, I trust you. And done. Okay. What's next? Program.cs. Now I'm not going to be needing some of the things that they did because they did like create the database and the container, everything. But I don't need that. But I do need the references. So I'm going to do what professional software developers do, and that is copy and paste. All right. Add these constants and variables. What is all this? Endpoint, primary key, that's the client we're going to use, that's the database, that's the container. Okay. Oh, they have IDs and names, which I already have. Time Bender, okay. Oh wait, what happened to my desktop? That's not good. Hold on. The wires are giving up. We'll see if it comes back. In the chat room, Timebender is asking about VS 2022 work on a Mac. Yeah, it should. Recommended RAM, I honestly don't know. But given that it's a native app, given that they have spent so much of the effort in optimizing it, I wouldn't expect too much of a requirement. Like I have a really old tiny MacBook, not Pro, just a tiny MacBook with I think 8 gigs of RAM, and Visual Studio runs on it like a champion. It's perfect. So I wouldn't expect a whole lot of things you need. Okay. What happened to my desktop? Come back. Come back. All right, hold on. Needs a little shaking up. It is using, so I'm using an Elgato capture card. So let's deactivate and activate that again. There you go. Just needed like a little kick. Hopefully that stays. Don't go away, desktop. I need you. Okay. So I do need some of this, but I don't need the database. Well, maybe I do need the database ID and the containers. There's a lot of comment here. That's fine. Let's grab all of this. No, actually, let's grab these things as well. And they are in the public class program. Okay. Okay, let me get rid of the comments here because it's just in the way. I want to be able to first like read the code and then we can comment as need be. Oh, come on. All right, so I have two things I need to grab. I need the endpoint primary key, and then we'll be ready to initialize our client. And then we have the database, the container, and then these two strings, which oh, I see. So these are different objects. This is the database object, and this is the ID of the database. Okay. All right. I got you. Then what? Then we go to Azure and get the URI and the primary key. Okay. We'll do that. Close your eyes. No, we're fine. We are friends here. All right, that's my endpoint. Okay, and the key. There you go. And we're never going to see that again. Okay, you didn't see that, right? Nobody saw that. Yeah, there you go. And we save that. Okay. Back to this. Back to the Data Explorer. Next up, what do we had? I did the endpoint, did the primary key. Now below the main method, add a new asynchronous task of get started demo async, which instantiates our new Cosmos client. Yes, I do need that. So this is a new. Oh, now they're making the task main an async, which is static void to start off. Okay, so that's a change. And we still want to do the hello world. So the async is probably just so we don't lock up the UI thread. All right. So does this build? It builds. Does it run? It runs. Okay, we're good. We're still good. All right. So now we're going to do this. Creates a new instance of the Cosmos client. Yes. So now we have this thing called the Cosmos client, and oh, that's a different method that they're doing. Fine. We'll do a get started async. And now we are initializing that Cosmos client with the endpoint, URI, and the key. So I'm guessing we need to call this. Where's my IntelliSense? Get started demo async. Maybe we need to do an await. It's not liking it. Why? Oh, it's a. Oh, it needs an object. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, it's a program P. Okay, add the following code. All right. What is a program? Why are we recreating a program again? I thought like the whole thing was the program.cs. I don't know. What is that? That is weird that we are initiating a program again within task main. And then we are doing a try catch, which we're going to live on the edge. Why would our code fail at all? And then finally, yeah, okay, don't need any of that. So, will this work? Go ahead and run. Hello world, and yeah, nothing. Well, even if it failed, like I wouldn't know because I'm not catching any exceptions, which I probably should. I just want to see my data, and then I will. Once I am in the client tab, I will do all types of exception handling. Okay, just show me my data first. All right, creating a database. So that's another task which we don't need because we already have our database. See, in the get started, they're calling in the create database. Okay, we got that. So now their whole thing looks like, Wait. The database ID needs to be set. Creating the database. When they did that, they used the database ID. Aha. So I need to grab the database ID. This is my database ID, Sands of MAUI issue list, right? So I need that. Sands of MAUI issue list. And I might need my container ID, which is called issue list. I don't know if I'm doing this right, because like I don't understand how the database ID and how the container ID is being used for partitioning and looking up the document. So if I see that I'm doing it wrong, I'll change it. How about that? Okay, so if the database doesn't exist, they're going to create that, which we already have. Okay, and they added that. So now the database looks like that. Program is going to call get started demo, which is going to come in here, create their database. We already have that. Okay, next up, what is this? Create a new instance. 503 servers available exception. It's possible the required ports for direct connectivity are blocked. I didn't get the error, so I don't need that. Moving on. Create a container. So that is their create container async, and they're using the container ID and specify last name as the partition key. Oh, we already did that. It's just called issues by us. I think, right? Is that what we did on this one? It's issue list. Again, they are sorting it by last name, like that's how they are partitioning it and looking it up. So I might be doing it wrong, but I only have one document here, so maybe we're right. We are fine. So this is using the container ID, which I got, and create container async, which we already have. Okay, now they're adding items into the container, which we have already done, but let's take a look. They have the family. Oh, now they I might need to create like a POCO object, so I can make the call and deserialize it back, right? Let's do that. Let's do that. Can I unpin this? Or maybe just make this smaller? Because, well, I mean, this is a test, so we're just going to do it right here. What the heck? That's my program class, and that thing ends here. So we are just going to do a public class. What was it called? Issue list, right? List. Okay. Oops. Within that, I don't think I need to bother with the ID. That will hopefully get serialized by itself. So let's do public name. Wait. What? IntelliSense looks like, well, it doesn't have IntelliSense. And I also didn't say it was a string. So name, get, set. I don't need anything else. No, I don't need that. So, and this published thing, I don't know exactly how it's going to come back. So we're going to call it a string to start off, and then we would like to make that a date, if possible. So issue list, name, published. That's all I need for now. So I have something of a POCO object, right? Now let's see what they're doing. So they're adding all these things. They have the family tree going. So each family member has parents and children and pets and their address. So they add all of this stuff up, and then what? Read the item to see if it exists, and then write. Let them do the write. We want to do the query. Okay. This is what we need. Oh no, my signal is gone again. So I'm having issues today, looks like, with my video card. Maybe a reboot is needed. Hold on. Okay, we'll give it a second. Maybe it'll come back. One moment, please. Take your moment, but just come back and don't go away. All right, deactivate and activate the source again. There we go. Please stay, desktop, please stay. I haven't, I should probably restart my Windows box and my Mac, which is my dev machine, at some point, because it has been like sleeping overnight, so probably needs a kick and just a brand new, like a refreshed feed. Okay, this is what we need. Private yeah, I need that. Okay, let me grab the whole thing, okay? And then we're gonna take out the family stuff. All right, here we go. So this is gonna call the get started, and at some point from the get started, we're gonna do await. Makes sense? There. So we're going to call get started from task main. Then we're going to initialize Cosmos client, and we are going to make the query call. All right. So I don't need any where clauses right now. Console write line will say, oh, okay, there you go. Running query, sure. Let it go, say that. Now query definition, SQL text, feed iterator. Oh, so this is where I can feed it my issue list. So it's kind of an enum, I'm guessing. So it's going to give me back a collection, query results set iterator this dot container. What the heck is a container? Issue list, query definition. Oh, that's all it needed. What is a container? Program.container. Get items, query iterator, issue list, query definition. So list of issue list is list of issues, right? New issue list. There you go. While query results set iterator has more results, feed response of the type issue list is going to do current results set. This is a little bit of an awkward thing, but I suppose like the query fires it off at the URI and the endpoint, and then we keep on reading until it's done, like until the has more results says false. And then what are we doing here? For each issue list, no, don't call it family. Issues in current results set. Oh, what is this? I need a collection somewhere here, right? What type of collection did they have? Is it an observable collection? What is like this dot families? Oh, list of family. Okay, no, we already had that, didn't we? Yeah, it's list of issues. I already have it. Okay. So we're going to add, let's call it issue. In that, add red issue. There you go. That's it. No more squiggly red lines. Save. Is that it? Is that all I need? to make a call out to Cosmos. I got the endpoint, I got the primary key, and I'm doing select star from C, which is the same as like doing like select star from C. So let's do it here again. Use equal select star from C. If I execute that, I should get 2 documents back. That's 1 and 2, and that's an array. So let's see if we get that same data back. This will be proof that I can do this from a console app, and then I can move it into my client app. All right, fingers crossed, right? You with me? Or everything's gonna break. No, something failed. Oh, and my wires are really failing on me. One more reboot. So essentially what's happening is I have my Mac, it's doing an HDMI out to an Elgato video card, and then that's doing an in into my Windows box. And that link needs a little bit of a kick sometimes. It's like, especially today. Come back. Oh, and I'm already past the hour. Okay, we have an exception, but that looks manageable. Where did the exception happen? List of dictionary. Oh, maybe it's just like the... Did I not initialize the family collection? Oh, hold on. Yes, close. I know. No, it was initialized. Update. He was not feeling lucky. No, I'm not feeling lucky. That's funny. Cannot obtain value of local variable because it's not available in the... What? Which one is not initialized? Alright, hold on. I need to run this in debug. Alright. And let's see. What? .NET quit. No, don't quit on me. Just run. Alright, here we go. UI debugging. No, I don't need a live visual tree here. Can you go away? Thank you. Alright, so we are running query select star from C. Okay, we're good there. Step into. We never hit that breakpoint. Step into. Oh, we hit the breakpoint before that. Right, hold on. One more time. Stop. I need to be able to hit these guys. That's not important. These two are important. So I should be initializing. Where am I? Which one is object reference now? Oh, it's even before that. Is it something in Cosmos that it's not? It's coming from 29. So, like, initializing this is failing? How is that possible? How is that possible? Cosmos client, new Cosmos client, endpoint URI, primary key. So select query text is doing this, and get item query iterator issue list. But like, does it know which one to go to? But it does know the database ID. You know what? We never told it which database to look into. So we initialized the Cosmos client, but we never pointed to a database. Damn it. Where did they do it? So we did up till this, right? No, actually we didn't. We did until this, where we just added the main, created the Cosmos client, right? We did that. And this database is not set, so it just doesn't know where to go. Create database async, but this is just creating, like, it's a reference to that database, but are they using that database anywhere? They should be. This one here is get started. This one here is creating the database. So now their database object is create database if exists async. You know what? I need this, because it just doesn't know what that database is. Like my this.database never got set, so that is my problem. You see that these two guys never got set, so we need to fix that. Get started demo async. Right here, before we query it, we got to set it. But I don't want to create. What are some of my options? Can you do some intelligence? Create database options. Get database query iterator, get type, maybe get this, that takes a query definition directly. Oh, I can feed it the query definition. But I need to give it the database ID so it knows where to point. Database endpoint. It gets the endpoint URI. No, that's just getting it. I don't want to get that. Get container. Get database. Okay, so this will do it. What does it take? It takes the database ID. That's what I need. Yes. Database ID. There you go. No, it doesn't like it. Why not? Returns a proxy reference. Get a waiter. What? Show potential fixes. Okay. Is that it? Stop and build. Oh, it's never assigned to. No, that this is there. The database does not contain a definition for get a waiter. What is the? Where are they doing it? Public async task. Get started demo. And they're calling this from an await, which is already in an await. What am I missing? Database does not contain. Well, I'm already in an await. Can I just knock that over? Maybe. Because like I'm already in an await, so maybe it's just getting confused that it doesn't need that. And then I also need to set the container. So could I also do this dot container equals Cosmos client dot get container, and it takes a string container ID. How about that? Will you like that? No, you don't like that. What do you mean? Get container string. Oh, it needs the database as well. Okay. I can do that. Database ID and container ID. Now are you happy? Okay. So before we do the await, we got to stop here and make sure we are getting these two guys set right. All right, fingers crossed. Last try. All right, database. Now we have a database, okay? Yay! And look at that, it's using that ID, and hopefully it has a reference now to the database. Let's see if we got the container. We have a container as well. That's the ID of issue list. DBS issue list calls issue list. So I think that's all it means. I think. And okay, let's fire this up. Yep, let's fire this up. Ah, there we go, there we go. We have results. In current results set, there is coming from, I think I got it, 2, right? Yeah, those are the 2. Can I see details? There's the resources, there we go. That's the issue list 1. Yay, there we go, there we go. You see that? Yeah, let me zoom in. That's my Sands of MAUI issue 1, and this one here, Sands of MAUI issue 2. Exactly what I need. Yay! Yay, console app. Done. You know what I could do? I could actually write it out. Console, this one doesn't know what an issue list is, but I can actually write it out. Issue.name. There we go. So now, when I run it, I don't need to debug. I can see the 2 issues come back. And this will be the test. Like, I can actually successfully read and write. All right, I can knock off my breakpoints. Don't need that. And, well, debug, start without debugging. We're going to live on the edge, build successful. Show me the terminal. Wait, did it run? What? Oh, there we go. It did run. Aha. See? I read Sands of MAUI issue 1 and I read Sands of MAUI issue 2. Okay. Yay! So much for just reading data from a cloud. But I'm happy. Rainbow. Yeah. All right. So I think this concludes what I want to do just to get started. I still don't know if Azure Cosmos DB is the right solution for me, but I am at a step where I am able to read the list of issues and be able to get to the details if I wanted to. Next step would be to actually go in here and in my actual issues figure out what I need to do, like for this one, this HTML body, figure out what I need to do to actually get that HTML nicely escaped and coming back to me in the form of JSON that I can work with, and then I can render that. So step 1 done, I am able to get to my data. So we're good. I'm going to stop here today and think that this was validation to just get it going, and then next week we're going to get into the client tab. Well, a little bit more massaging needed for getting the data out and escaping the HTML, but baby steps, right? Baby steps. All right, folks, that's all I got. So 3D Polyret, Hector, SC Time Bender, thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry about the desktop going blank for a couple of times and then me fine-tuning audio on the go. But thank you. Thanks for hanging out, and hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. Stay well, stay productive, and I shall see you on the next stream. Okay? Bye-bye.